Do you want to understand once and for all how the iterator functions work, like SUMX, AverageX, MinX, etc.? So stay with me until the end of this video. Iterator functions. What are they? They are the famous X functions. The SUMX, the AverageX, the MinX, MaxX, FilterX, and so on. What is the difference between an iterator function and a normal function like sum? To understand that, let's give it a look in our table. The table that we have here, it's a very simple one. It's just the quantity, the product, and the value. Okay? So, what a sum function do with this table when we are calculating something? Let's say I want to calculate the total sales. For do this, I need the amount multiplied by the value, so I can have the total sales. Okay? How will be the behavior of this in sum? In sum, we'll first have to sum the total quantity. After that, we sum the total values. After that, we're gonna multiply one sum by the other. So what sum will do? It will multiply everything. Here we have x as total. Here we have other x, and it will multiply one by the other. Okay? How SUMX function? It will do the iteration row by row. So when we do the SUMX, first it will multiply 3 by 298 and will give us a total. Then it will multiply 7 by 845 and give us a total. And it's gonna do the same thing for each row, and after that create a sum of the totals. So it's basically like it's creating its own virtual calculated column with the multiplication of this quantity by this value and creating a new column here. Okay, that is the main difference. One, it will do the calculations row by row, and the other will do the calculations by the totals. So in practice, how it will be the behavior of each function? Let's see. I have here the same table, and I'm gonna create the total sales using these two methods, sum and SUMX. So let's give it a shot. First of all, total sales. Let me just zoom in. Total sales by sum. It will be a sum of sales quantity by multiplying by the sum of value. And here it is. Oops. Oh, I went in the table. Here is the value. Now let's do the same thing, but with SUMX. Total sales, SUMX. We're gonna call the SUMX function. The function asks for a table and an expression, different from the sum that only asks a column. So what table do you want? The sales. What expression do we want? We want the quantity, the column quantity, multiplied by the column value. And then close the parentheses and hit enter. Now let's put it here in the table. So at first look, it seems that the values are the same, but let's take a look in the totals. They are completely different. One is 1293 and the other is 300. Okay, so why it is different? Because of the behaviors of the measures, like I explained before. Let's revisit this. What total sales sum is doing? It is summing this entire column, then summing this entire column, and then multiplying. Let's take a look. 3 multiplied by 298 is 894. Okay, it's working because let's not forget about the row context. So the context of the measure is just the product A. So that's why the values in SUMX and SUM for each product are the same, because it's only multiplying this row by this row. Okay, so those values are the same. Here is multiplying 7 by 845. It's 59.50. Okay, the same thing for SUMX. But when we get to the totals, what is doing differently? In SUM, it's getting the total quantity, that is 40, and multiplying by the total value of the products, that is 32 and 33. Okay, and after that is multiply one by the other and resulting in this value here. Why is this wrong? Because for this specific analysis, it doesn't make sense to sum the unitary values of the products and have a total price, because it's not work like that in the real world. So here it's completely wrong. We do not sum the total quantity by the total sum of the unitary values. These two numbers don't make sense because each product has its own value, and the quantity of each product should only be multiplied by the unitary value of that same product. That is the difference in SUMX, because it's doing this. It's multiplying 3 by 298, and it's returning 894. And it's doing the same thing for each row, and in the end is summing the totals. So it's summing 894, 5950, 5075, and so on, and it's getting 309. Okay, did you understand the difference? The usability of the X functions will depend on the business rules and the goal that you have with your analysis. Most cases, a simple sum will do it, but for this specific case, it doesn't make sense to add all the quantities and all the values and multiply it in the end. This total here is completely wrong. It doesn't return an actual analytic value. It's just a random number. So the correct approach, it will be the SUMX, that will multiply each product by its own value and then summing the individual totals of each product to have the overall sales. Okay, I hope that you understand the difference between the iterator functions and the other functions, and if you have any doubts, please let me know in the comments. So what do you guys think of today's video? Let me know all in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I see you guys on our next video.